So, I was wondering for a long time why you never went to college. I mean, you look like a plain old career focused woman, but now I come to find out your family is a bunch of farmers? That answers my question, doesn't it? You didn't go to college because you couldn't go to college. You're just a dirt poor farmer. Seriously, though, you do not look at all like someone with just a high school diploma. It's kind of comical how big the gap is between your appearance and your real stature. No, that's actually not the reason I didn't go to college. It's simple. I just had something else that I wanted to do. And that something didn't require a college education. Why would I spend tens of thousands of dollars, not to mention precious years of my life, pursuing a college education when I didn't need one? Oh, sure, Alyssa, I totally believe you. For real. So, what's up with the way you dress every day then, huh? How come you're always dressed to kill like you do? Is it because you wish you would have chosen the path of an elite businesswoman instead of shoveling hay all day? You don't shovel hay, you use a pitchfork. I don't actually work with hay, though. As for my appearance, I don't know what's so mysterious about it. I just like to look my best, that's all. I mean, for better or for worse, a lot of people in this world judge people based on appearance. If that's the case, I may as well use the physical blessings I've been given to my advantage. Uh-huh, right. Well, I bet you could land just about any guy you want if you keep dressing like that. Is that what you're after? You can't make any money because you don't have a college degree and your family is a bunch of dirt poor farmers. So you're trying to get yourself a rich husband to take care of you. I mean, women from farming families basically only have two choices. Marry a guy richer than you to escape the farm life, or else be stuck planting corn until the day you die. No, this may be hard for you to believe, but I dress the way I do because I like it, not to impress anyone else. You're such a liar. But man, it was such a relief when your brother told me he wasn't going to inherit the family farm. If I had to spend the rest of my life as a farmer's wife, I think I would have broken up with him. Like, who wants to live on a frickin' farm? That's the kind of thing low IQ losers do. And I am way too intelligent and beautiful to waste away getting lost out in the cornfields. Okay, Julie, you think you can cool it with bashing farmers like that? Seriously, why do you talk so hatefully about them? If it weren't for farmers, you wouldn't have any of the food you eat, you know. Vegetables, fruit, eggs, milk, meat. Thank a farmer for all of that. Uh-oh, looks like I struck a nerve. Sorry, Alyssa, did I hurt your feelings by being a little bit too honest? You're right, I should have been more sensitive. Even though your parents are stupid, illiterate, uncultured farmers, that doesn't change the fact that they're your parents. I've been trying to tell you, you have the completely wrong deal about us. My family aren't actually farmers. My dad just bought a small farm after he retired and started raising some fruits and vegetables as more of a hobby for his retirement. Wow, I've got to hand it to you. You are really committed to defending your stupid farmer parents, Alyssa. But really, it's okay. You don't have to defend them to me. I don't care that they're a couple of imbeciles that probably can't even read at a 4th grade level. Honestly, I don't care much about your upbringing at all. Just like I don't care that you're trying and failing to become a writer or whatever. Seriously, none of that matters to me in the slightest. Right. Well, there are an awful lot of things that I want to say to you right now. But you know what? I'm not even going to bother. You're free to think whatever you'd like of me and my family. Why are you here, Alyssa? This is my wedding day. Why do you think I'm here? I'm here to celebrate your wedding with you. So, if you don't mind, could you explain why in the world you just threw a glass of wine all over me? Because you weren't invited. I don't care if you're my fiancé's family. That doesn't make you my family. Actually, as a matter of fact, it does. For the love of God, would you get with the picture already? You are a bunch of farmers. Your brother, however, is a high-powered executive. He's president of his own company. I see. So you're saying all of us farmers weren't invited? Oh, so you can read English. Oh, good for you. You must have been studying. There are 500 people at this wedding, and they're all my fiancé's employees. Manure-eating farmers like you don't belong here. I don't need you lot hanging around us to mooch off of your brother's success. Get out of here now. What the? You think we're here to try and mooch off my brother's success? Yeah, why else would you be here? I'll bet you guys were really excited, weren't you? You probably thought today was going to be the first time in years that you've had a proper meal. Well, too bad. You're not invited, so get back in your buggy and have your horse pull you back to the farmhouse you came from. And I hope you got a really good look at my face before I dumped that wine on you, because you're never going to see me again. You are hereby banned from contacting me or your brother. I see. Can I get that in writing? I told my dad about that, and he seems pretty excited about the prospect, too. What are you doing here? Is this your attempt at putting on a strong face? How pathetic. What were you thinking, anyway? A bunch of farmers would never be welcome at a fancy wedding like this. I would have laughed if it weren't so insulting that you even showed up. I see you've made your decision, then. Just so you know, it's too late for you to turn back now. Oh, no, I'm so scared. What will I ever do without you guys coming around my house and tracking mud all over the place? Okay, well, you know what they say. Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. What's going on? Where is everyone going? All 500 of our guests are leaving? And why did they all listen to your dad? All he did was say, okay, everyone, show's over, we're leaving. And then everyone actually left? And what about you guys? Where did you go? Get back here this instant. I tried to tell you, it's too late for you to turn back now. This doesn't make sense. Why would they all obey the command of some smelly old farmer? What did you do, Alyssa? Apparently you didn't know this, but the truth is that the company my brother runs now used to be my father's company. What? Yeah, he just passed it on to my brother when he retired. My dad ran that company for close to 30 years. All the employees still respect him a lot, so much that they still obey his orders even after he retired. Wait, are you telling the truth? I mean, your dad told everyone to go, and they really did leave. Now the only people left in the chapel are me and my fiancé. Aw, is that right? Well, sucks to be you. I guess none of the employees have very much respect for their new president. That's not true. Sure it is, and as evidence, they're all talking to my father right now. They're begging him to come back to the company, saying that they can't handle my brother's leadership any longer. You're joking. They're really saying that? No way, I don't believe you. Your brother tells me that things are going just fine at the company. You're welcome to believe whatever nonsense my brother is telling you, but I'm telling the truth. I'm looking at all the company executives practically on their knees in front of my dad, begging him to come back. And my dad's even saying that he doesn't want to leave the company in his son's hands. But even if that's true, and I'm not saying I believe it, then all your dad needs to do is train your brother how to run the company or something. Well, that's the problem right there. In order to teach someone something, they have to be willing to learn, and my brother isn't. He's been vehemently opposed to any sort of hard work ever since he was a kid. My dad's been trying to teach him about business for quite some time, but all my brother ever did was daydream about using his authority to make people do all his work for him. And boy, does he ever love abusing his authority and pushing people around. You have to realize that too, don't you? Well, I guess he does like to talk up the fact that he runs a company. But, I mean, he does, though. He is running the company, and it is more than 1,500 employees. So it's not like he's just relying on that authority alone. He has real business skills. Do you really think so? The only reason he wanted to be the company president was so he could sit in a comfortable chair in a big office. He never does anything for the company. It's like he thinks that the president never had to do anything except watch while his employees do everything. He does think that, though. And it's basically true, isn't it? Presidents don't do all that much. They delegate. Well, to be fair, in some companies, yeah. Depending on the industry, some companies could operate just as well without a president. But that's not the case for this one. Most of the company's business requires regular, difficult decision-making from the top. But my brother never even listens to the employees. He just spends all day playing video games in his office. We've gotten a ton of reports from him screaming profanities from his office whenever he gets killed. Wait, people tell that stuff to you? But why? You don't need to know that. Originally, the plan was for me to take over the company after my father retired. But like I told you, I wanted to walk a different path in life, so I turned it down. My brother was really jealous that my dad wanted to give it to me over him. Given how different my brother and I are, though, you can't blame my dad for making me his first choice. And even though I don't even work at the company anymore, a lot of the employees still respect me as though I were an executive. That shouldn't matter, though. Your brother is the president, and today is his wedding. Why would all the employees obey your dad over him? For someone like you, who sees being president as nothing but organizational power, I can understand why you would think that way. But that's not how business works. Employees are humans. They have hearts, feelings, emotions. If employee morale drops, then the company falls apart. And if the employees don't want to follow the president, then for all intents and purposes, he's not the president. But they're ruining my wedding! Yeah, I suppose they are. Maybe if you were slightly better of a person than my brother, then I might feel bad about what's happening. I might even feel some responsibility as your future sister-in-law to make sure things went as planned. But you came over to me and threw a glass of wine in my face, so it seems like you're just as much of a dirtbag as my brother. And as such, I'm not going to lift a single finger to save you from the mess you've made. You can't do this to me. This is our wedding. It's supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. But now all of our employees are turning their backs on us. This can't be happening. No, you've got it backwards. My brother is the one who betrayed all the employees. It wasn't always this bad. At first, the employees were more than willing to work with my brother and help him become more capable of filling my dad's shoes. But how did he repay them for their good faith? By throwing it in their faces. He was nothing but a lazy, overbearing jerk from day one, and it only got worse when he started dating you. I've been getting reports from employees at all levels of the company since he took over about how terrible he is to work for. Those traitors! How could they betray their own boss like that? I see that you're still determined to blame everyone but yourself. Have you really never stepped back for a moment and considered that maybe, just maybe, you are at fault? All that's going to do is push away the people who may once have felt inclined to help you. But they have to do this today of all days. Can't they just hold in their contempt for us until our wedding is over? Sure, maybe he's not quite as good of an executive as your dad was. They didn't have to blow up on us now. I suppose you feel the same way about how you derided my family as being a bunch of poor, illiterate farmers, too. We're supposed to let that slide because today is your wedding? Well, I mean, it is our wedding day. You know, I thought it was odd that my brother hid the fact that he inherited the company from my dad, but I'll bet that was just because he wanted to make himself seem more impressive to you. And he wanted to keep us away from the wedding for the same reason. He thought we'd blow his cover. Then, after the wedding, you cut us off and he'd never have to worry about you finding out. Well, sorry to say, but the business world isn't that forgiving of a place. His shenanigans end here. What's that supposed to mean? It means my dad is coming back to the company. What? Your fiancé is fired. My dad's going to take back control of the company to turn it back around, and I'll be taking over the family farm in his place. What the? I don't understand. You can't do that. Can you? At this rate, there's no way my brother is going to shape up as a leader. If no one's willing to follow the leader, then the company will go under before the next fiscal year begins. So my dad's brilliant plan was to start up a new company that does exactly the same thing as the old one. And when he does, he'll issue a cordial invitation for all the current company employees to join his new one. But if that won't work, he has 1,000,001 other ideas to crush my brother. If you don't want that to happen, then I suggest you and he play along and do as we say. This can't be happening. Anyway, it's too bad about your wedding. I hope you come to understand exactly how weak of a position you're in.
Hey, Alyssa, thanks a bunch for yesterday. I guess you really gave that succubus a piece of your mind, huh? Your dad told me all about it. Man, I can't tell you enough how relieved I am to hear that he's making a comeback. And it's not just me. All the other employees feel the same way.
Hey, Sawyer, you don't need to thank me. I was glad to be the one to give her a reality check. I should be apologizing to you, honestly. The wedding was a real mess because of me, and you all got dragged into our family matters. And now there are going to be even more disruptions to the company's operations. Tell all the guys in the office that I'm sorry for me, would you?
Nah, you have absolutely nothing to apologize for. I mean, none of us had any idea this would happen. We all were excited for the passing of the torch to a new generation of leadership when your dad retired. And now that he's coming back, everyone is feeling more motivated than we have since he left. To be honest, though, I'm pretty surprised that your brother and his wife gave up so easily. I'm almost wondering if they've got something up their sleeves.
Yeah, I was surprised at that myself. But in any case, for the time being, things seem to be going as planned. I've been getting reports here and there from employees before now. But now that my brother's officially on the way out, I'm getting a flood of brand new reports. Like, how much of a monster was my brother, anyway?
Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the stories I've heard. But to be fair, your brother is something of a victim himself. I feel bad for him, honestly. Like, his fiancée was fooling around with his own employees. That's gotta hurt.
Whoa, hold on. This is news to me.
Wait, really? You mean to tell me you didn't know about that? You said you had been hearing from other employees, so I thought you would have heard. I mean, it's practically an open secret in the office.
Yeah, no, I've not heard anything about this, but I would very much like to hear everything. I mean, I don't really have a stake in what happens between the two of them anymore, but you've piqued my curiosity.
Okay, then shall I start from the beginning?
Yes, please. Oh, but wait 1 second. I want to get some popcorn ready. This sounds like it's going to get really interesting.
All right. Well, here goes.
You told him? I don't believe this. You actually told him. Why would you do that? This sucks. Thanks to you meddling in affairs that don't concern you, we just had a massive fight. Uh-oh. Looks like the honeymoon's over. But really, Julie, you have to see that this is no one's fault but your own. If you didn't want to risk your relationship, then you shouldn't have been sleeping around with as many of the company's men as you could. Don't change the subject. We're talking about you, not me. Why would you know about that? I told you, I have a lot of friends in the company. Whatever goes on there eventually makes its way to me. Word on the street is that you two were planning on waiting for my dad to bring the company back into the black and then take it back from him. But thanks to your legendary indiscretion, that dastardly plot has now been foiled. This cannot be happening. Why would those morons go and tell you that? All they had to do was keep their big fat mouths shut, and all of us would have been better off. I have to admit, I had you all wrong, Julie. I thought you were just trying to make connections in order to secure my brother's position as president. That way he could continue to play video games while pulling an executive salary. And you would never have to work a day in your life. But as it turns out, my brother didn't know anything about your secret meetings with his employees. You were just sleeping around. And don't judge me. I mean, you've been around the office before. You know that this company is full of hot young men. You'd be doing exactly what I did if you had the chance. And consider my position. I was set to get married. I only had a few months left to have fun. And there was no shortage of absolute studs at the company. So I figured I would enjoy my youth and femininity while I could, then quit once we got married. I'm serious. We weren't married yet, so what's the big deal? The big deal is that cheating is still cheating, even if you're not married. If I were him, I would kick you to the curb without a second thought. But at any rate, that's a problem for you and him to talk about. I would rather not get involved if at all possible. If you want my objective assessment, I think you should plan on being single again in the very near future. Now, I think that's enough talk about your salacious social life. Let's talk about more important things now. Namely the fact that you've been spreading false rumors about my father in a desperate attempt to keep my brother's position as president. You're not going to get away with that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, please, let's not act like children, all right? I received a tip regarding a particular social media account that's been making all sorts of libelous statements. After a brief investigation, I can state definitively that you and my brother are the ones behind that account. You can't prove that. What evidence do you have? The fact that it's the same account my brother was using the last time he got sued for defamation? Wait a second. He's done this before? Yep. He had a crush on one of his high school classmates, and when she spurned his advances, he started defaming her on social media. She confronted him about it, and he confessed, so she sued him for libel. The damages were nominal, but he had to put in a lot of extra hours at his part-time job to pay it off. Plus, he did admit to using that exact account, so you'll have a hard time denying that you were the ones making the defamatory statements. And now he's gone and done the exact same thing with the exact same account. And this time, his targets are my dad and I? Seriously, that idiot never learns. No way. You mean he's really done this before? That moron! He lied to me! He said that he was using an anonymous account, so there was no chance he would ever get caught. Well, I guess he must have forgotten that it was established in court that he was the owner of the account. Okay, look, you have to understand the whole defamation thing was all his idea. I had no part in it. I would never do anything so devious as defaming someone from an anonymous social media account. Aren't you forgetting something very important? Something that we were talking about just a few moments ago? You were cheating on your fiancé with several of his own employees. So I don't think you have any right to be calling anyone's actions devious. I guess you have a point. Okay, well, I think that just about covers everything. Neither you nor my brother will ever have any position of authority in this company again. You won't even be able to get a job cleaning the office bathrooms. Also, since my brother always just left all the decision-making up to his subordinates, he never actually gained any business acumen. So I doubt he'll have much success finding a job elsewhere. You may just wind up being homeless, but if that happens, I hope you'll remember one very important thing. It's all your own fault. Wait, so what are we supposed to do now? I mean, we just got married. I was just about to start my new life as a pampered housewife. I would recommend you get to work on a plan B very, very soon. Based on how many men you cheated on him with, I doubt he'll allow you to be a full-time housewife. Perhaps a good place to start would be dusting off your resume. Let's work on a solution that doesn't involve me having to work, okay? I know. Why don't you get your father to forgive his son and let him work at the company again? That way he'll be able to gain business skills and one day take over the company for real. That's not gonna happen. He almost ran my father's company into the ground, and then he turned to defamation in order to keep control over it. Then there's the matter of your hateful words towards me and my family. There's no coming back from this for you. And worst of all, I'm in the best possible position to do even more damage to you. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? You said the other day that I failed at becoming a writer? Well, you're dead wrong. I've written multiple books that have hit the top 10 on the bestseller list. Not only that, I have a wildly successful blog on the side, with hundreds of thousands of people reading me every day. And guess what I've decided to write about for my next post? No, you can't be serious. Oh, but I am. I'm going to tell the entire world about what you've done. When I'm through with you, everyone in the country is going to know about my incompetent brother and his unfaithful wife. Soon after that, Julie and my brother came to visit my dad and begged for forgiveness. My dad, however, was unmoved by their desperate pleas. He officially disowned my brother, kicked him out of the house, and wrote him out of his will. As for me, I kept my promise and wrote all about the two of them on my blog. It was my biggest post yet by far. I got millions of hits almost overnight. If this keeps up, I might be able to make a living on my blog income alone. Maybe I'll send Julie and my brother a fruit basket to thank them for providing me with inspiration. I might have trouble in sending it to them, though, because after my brother lost his job, they lost their house. From what I understand, they both got jobs at a factory outside the city that has free employee housing. Julie insulted farmers for supposedly smelling like manure, but I doubt she comes home at the end of the day smelling very well.